Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we further explore the psychedelic renaissance with Bright Minds Biosciences channel. And joining us is the CEO, Ian McDonald. Welcome, sir.
Kyle, what's going on?
Oh, living the dream, brother. Yourself?
It's living the dream. Got the pills here. Got lots of stuff going on.
Hopefully we're going to explore some of this for a lot of the newer investors. We're just going to get an encapsulated idea of exactly what you guys are doing here. But first, obviously, Ian, how did you get involved in the psychedelic sector, and what's kind of some of your background experience?
So I started off in investment banking and venture capital. I was in that world for a long time. I understand the capital markets very well, and started getting interested in this idea of psychedelic drugs in around 2014, 2015, and got the opportunity to pursue that with full vigor around 2017 when we sold our last company, which was a gold mining company, for about $160 million. And I had some cash in the bank and some time, so I went full on into forming Bright Minds. And started the company myself, was the initial investor. I kept it going for quite a while with just funds for myself and the other co-founders. And yeah, that's the quick and dirty.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, going from the gold sector straight into the psychedelic sector. But you seem to be in it for a little while. I mean, going back to that time frame, I don't even think people knew these companies existed. Kind of leading into Bright Minds itself, what kind of pipeline are you guys working on? I've noticed that you're dealing with some seizure disorders, opioid addiction. You're getting into Alzheimer's treatments, and these are kind of neurological symptoms, diseases that haven't really been touched on as much, I think, when you're especially talking about Alzheimer's and seizures. Just kind of speak about the pipeline and the broader view of everything else you guys are working on.
Yeah, sure. So we focus on serotonergic drugs. They work on the serotonin system. Most people know serotonin is the feel-good molecule, which it is, but it also mediates some other physiological effects. Certain receptors affect sleep. Others affect things like seizure disorders or impulse control disorders. And what we're really doing is altering the brain circuitry with these drugs and creating what is an abnormal circuit, and trying to rectify that through pharmaceutical intervention. And so some of those disorders that you described are ameliorated by our compounds, which are not actually psychedelic. They work on a system which is a related receptor, but it doesn't give you that hallucinogenic effect that most people associate with psychedelics like magic mushrooms or LSD. So we're really divorcing the therapeutic effect and getting a really targeted drug by hitting a specific receptor with our molecule. So if you're a person suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia, Alzheimer's related psychosis, which is dementia, there's no need for you to be on a psychedelic drug like LSD, but we still want to solve that serotonergic deficit. It's just done through a slightly different mechanism. So Alzheimer's disease, psychosis, epilepsy, those are all daily drugs that are non-psychedelic. And then we also have our next generation psychedelic drugs. So these are new and improved versions of what Mother Nature's come up with psilocybin, and what Sandoz and Albert Hoffman came up with LSD in the decades prior. So we're really taking modern scientific knowledge and modern scientific approach, and a team that's created drugs in big pharma their entire careers, and focusing that on this psychedelic medicine and serotonergic field.
Incredible. So speaking of kind of these phase trials, because a lot of them are starting to get into that phase one shortly, and talking about
Yep.
kind of the capital structure behind it. I mean, your company's worth over $100 million. I mean, you guys got over 20 million in cash, literally no debt. So can you kind of speak about your trajectory here? How long is that cash going to push you through your phase trials, and what is the projected outcome? Are you guys looking to partner with some other companies? Are you looking to forefront these pharmaceuticals yourself? What exactly is the vision here?
Yeah, so we have quite a strong balance sheet, as you know. It's quite a capital intensive business, and in order for a biotech company to have confidence that those trials can be funded, assuming their success, is really having the right partners, and that's something that I think really separates us from a lot of the other companies in the psychedelic sphere. We have some of the top healthcare funds that are, this is all they do. They don't invest in tech. They don't invest in resources. They don't invest in anything else but healthcare. So teams of PhD scientists, and they've looked at our science, they've vetted us and said, okay, this looks like a bet we want to make. We have those guys who understand that this is not a process that takes 3 months, 6 months, 2 years. This is you're in this for several years before you see a marketed drug. So we have those partners who not only understand the space, but have a pretty strong capital position that will be able to help us grow as we proceed down the clinical pathway and into those costlier clinical trials, which are full-blown phase 2s and phase 3 clinical trials. Also, our move into NASDAQ will help with that as well. Really, the home of biotech investors is on NASDAQ. A lot of them are US domiciled funds, and it makes it a lot easier for those investors to participate in the story if it is a US listed stock.
So you guys are uplisting from the CSE, and what's the ticker on that?
Yeah, we are. So we are traded in Canada under the ticker DRUG, and the ticker on NASDAQ will be DRUG as well. So
incredible.
Drug.
So as we kind of just head into the last quarter, is there anything investors can look forward to here? Is there anything that's really exciting you, aside from the uplisting, which I know is big news for a lot of investors from the retail side?
Yeah, we have 25 chemists that are working round the clock creating novel psychedelics. To give you an idea, that is, from everything that I understand, it's quite a lot bigger than any other drug development program in psychedelics anywhere in the world. So we're focused on innovation. We're not taking old molecules with deficiencies and trying to push them through. We're creating superior molecules through innovation. And I think that really separates us from everybody else. And we're starting to see the rewards of that. We have a psychedelic library, which is absolutely huge at the present moment and growing every day. And we know all the compounds out there. We've seen what our competitors have, and we are quite confident that we will have drugs with a superior profile at the end of the day. So that's what excites me on a day-to-day basis. We have compounds that, they're not all identical. We have compounds that can be used in a number of different areas and a number of different disease states. So chronic pain is something that we're looking at. The disorders that you mentioned earlier, epilepsies, Alzheimer's, those are indications we're looking at as well, in addition to the typical neuropsychiatric disorders such as depression and PTSD. So we're really looking to take this class of drugs and make sure that it is fully utilized.
Awesome. So I just wanted to kind of follow up with one more quick question here, because I noticed that a lot of the different psychedelic companies are operating out of many different facets, I should say, like some of them, I guess, are out of Sweden. They're kind of all over the place. Are you finding that a lot of these trials are taking place in Canada, the US? Where are you guys running these trials?
We're running our phase 1 trials in Australia. There are advantages to that. Cost advantages. There's a great tax rebate program down there, so it's 40% cheaper. Also, it's quicker to get to clinic. You can avoid or delay the IND process, which is a regulatory process, which is required by the FDA to start trials in the United States. So we're going to be doing our phase 1 in Australia, and then we're going to do our phase proof of concept trials right after that in both the United States and Australia. There'll be multi-site trials.
Well, I appreciate these insights today, Ian. We're going to have you come back, and then maybe we'll divulge down more into the balance sheet side of things, more into these trials.
Perfect.
But thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
In light of this, if any investors ever have any questions, let us know what you think in the comment section below, and we can bring it up on our following interviews. But in light of this, stay cool, stay awesome, and we'll catch you in the next one.
And stay drunk.
Cheers.